All right, guys, we are back, and this video is actually what I titled it is completely something of what I wanted to originally do. So this mare, little backstory. She's a lesson horse. She's an old blown up barrel mare, but I do use her for lessons. I use her for some other things, and she was getting a little heavy, and so I thought, well, I'll just take her and I'll give her a little tune up. Couple things is that or that I did just have surgery, so I do have to be careful of how much I do. My core muscles are lacking, so you will see in this video that I do sometimes lose my balance real easy. So I thought I could just do some real easy things. I do usually ride this mare in a shank bit, and today she was really pulling on me. So I thought, well, I'll just break it down. I got a little Argentine shank bit and thought, well, we can work on some of this, getting her light, getting her soft again. And basically what I found is that, she was really heavy on my hands, heavy on my legs, not really listening. She was really uptight. There's a lot of things going on in this video, from the other horses coming up, wind blowing around. You'll see the feed sacks in the background kind of blowing every once in a while. The horses grabbing them, playing them with them. But she just really wasn't in that mood to listen to me. And so I thought, hey, this would be a perfect opportunity, to work on some basics here. She is not the perfect most conformationally correct mare either. She does have some arthritis issues. Like I said, she is an older mare. She usually does really well for me, for my kids that I do lessons with. But when I do need to use her, I noticed that she was just getting a little tight, little heavy, not listening to me. And so sometimes, when you have a dual purpose horse like that, you got to go backwards. And just take a day and spend a couple of minutes and do some basics. Mostly what I originally planned on was just getting her to move off my legs a little better. You can see I am bundled up. I have warm insulated boots on versus riding boots in this particular video. I was just trying to get her to move off of my legs at first, and she was not really having much of that. And so then I realized, well, now I just got to get her back to giving her face a little bit, giving to my hands. Let's just get her off of my hands, off of that bit a little bit first, getting her to relax, because it seemed like every time I asked for something, she got uptight, she'd get worried about it. And so I just had to go backwards and just say, hey, if I give a little, will you give a little? And you can see there right now, that's what I'm working on at this minute, just picking up ever so lightly, just asking, and she'll give. Every once in a while she'll kind of get heavy again, but she'll look, and I don't care if they look. They're going to be horses. They have minds of their own. They want to be back by their buddies, or they want to see whatever's blowing over there or going on, or the car passing by, or the dogs running through, or the chickens, or whatever the case may be. But she's been there, done that mare, but she still needs to listen. And that's part of having some lesson kids, is they tend to hang on a little too long, and they don't always know when to release. And so just for my use, if I go and work some colts on her or work some cattle on her, she tends to get a little hot and just pull through my hands and ignore my leg, and you can't always have that. You can't have that in a situation. So that's why I thought, we'll take this time. I can't ride super heavy, but I can sit here and we can work on some of this. And so you can see I just pick up and I kind of wait, just come into contact with that rein, with that bit, and I wait. I'll sit there and I'll just wiggle my fingers ever so slightly. I'm not wiggling my legs, not wiggling nothing like that. Just asking her to give. And at first you just want that head to just, not even the head, you just want her to think about it. You just might want to flick of an ear or barely turn of her eye or whatever. There you can see I'm waiting for a little bit more. Yes, she turned her ear towards me, and then she turned it away because the dogs ran through, whichever. But, and then I wanted more, so I released when she gave me more. And that's part of it is you got to start with a little bit, accept a little bit at first. And then once you start getting a little bit, you can ask for more and more and more. But don't ask for everything right away. And I feel like that's oftentimes a big mistake. There you see the horse grabbing the feed sacks over there. It doesn't bother her so much, but I do have some colts that, if a horse grabs a feed sack, they do, what is that, And there she's starting to relax. She's really starting to relax compared to when I first got on her. Yawning a little bit, putting her head down. There she's turning her head towards me, smelling my leg a little bit, which is all good. It's all, don't just get on and go, go, go. And I think part of that is like I said, she's an ex-barrel horse, and that's what she was used for. It was not me. I purchased her after her barrel racing career. But I found out real quick that was part of her issue as well. Like I said, I purchased her for just general use and lesson mare. I didn't purchase her for barrels by any means. She's still a nice little mare, but she's got some issues that we just had to kind of come back and revisit and remember, including she overflexes, or especially when we back up and stop. She'd rather just put her chin to her chest instead of stopping. And so hopefully like I said, kind of getting back to some of these basics will help her in all aspects, not only moving her hips, moving her front end, just getting her to relax in general. There you can kind of see she pushed against my hands. I'll wiggle my legs. Got kind of, had to wiggle quite a bit there to get her off my hands. But you see she puts her head right back up in the air. Yes, I released her there for, flexing. Wasn't the greatest, but she tried. And so just trying to get her to realize that once she does something I ask, I'm going to, release her. She doesn't have to get all worked up about it. There she put her head down before she actually bent, which is nice. And there goes the dog again. And she's kind of ignoring me. She looked off up to the other horses, and then she comes back mentally going, oh, okay. Sometimes you got to do this. It doesn't matter what age the horse is. You got to go back to basics. And like I said, my core muscles were cut during surgery, so I don't have very strong core. And I did not go back and get a different bit. Getting on and off the horse was hard enough, even with the mounting block for me. But in the second part of this video, which is day 2, I did go get a different bit, which you'll see. But if I was my spring chicken self, I would have gone back and got a different bit, just a snaffle bit, to work on some of this, because I realized she really needed just more basics. And you can kind of see that, I left my hand lower there that time, and you can even go out wider, not staying up so close to your body, but go wide if they really struggle with this concept, as well as staying low. Keeping your hands lower will help them realize that they don't have to put their head up in the air so high. There I went lower, or wider immediately, and she gave a lot faster, which she needed. And I could tell too, there she walked off on her own. And so just asking her to kind of come back to me again. She's not wanting to stand. I think this is the end of where she where she started to get a little fidgety, but that's all right. Um, but we're trying to just go back to doing some basics, moving her over so I could get off on that mounting block. So here you'll see this is the second day. It was a lot warmer this day. But I started out on the ground with her, got a snaffle bit, and started her out on the ground just to kind of double check that I could, see what I have, see that I have some of that flexion. And she's just kind of tuning me out. She's like, la, 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 I'm not listening to you, I'm not listening to you, I'm not listening to you. And there she finally gave just a little bit, and I released. And so that's what you kind of got to go back and do. Start on the ground if you need to. Start with a snaffle, go back to a halter, do what you need to do. Don't just sit there and, well, this is a bit we've always used and we're just going to stick to it. That is not training. Training is you go and you work on the horse that you have today. Not yesterday, not 10 years ago, not what you want tomorrow, not what you want 5 years from now. You have to work on what you have today. And if that means that, they're not cooperating, they're maybe being a little heavy on your hand, pushing through, pulling through, whatever, ignoring your leg, then go back to basics. There is nothing wrong with going back to basics. It just means that something's, you failed the horse. And, in her aspect, like I said, I put a lot of kids on her. Is that right or wrong? No, she does really well for the kids. She takes care of them. She's like a little babysitter. When you put a little kid on that doesn't know what to do, she will take care of them. But she has paid the price for that. In getting that, she's gotten heavy. She tends to ignore your leg a little bit, because kids tend to tighten up. They tend to, keep their leg on too much. They tend to hold the reins too tight. They don't know when to release. And so for her case, she's just like, well, this is what I've been doing, so why should I release? Why should I give, And so, like I said, I do use her for cattle and for helping colt start every once in a while. And sometimes it just doesn't cut it, so, got to go back to basics, whether that is, being on the ground, just asking real light, just picking that slack out of her rein. There, I released it. Give her a good rub down. Let her know she did good. And she thoroughly enjoys that. Now I'm asking for a little bit more than what she had given me the first time. There's nothing wrong with that. She's realizing that she can not only put her head down, but give just ever so slightly instead of ignoring me or bracing in that bridle. There she gave a lot faster, but there are the other horses on the other side, so she kind of knows that as well. And she tends to get a little stuck during certain aspects of it. And you'll see her licking and chewing. She's really trying to process what I've been asking her today and the day before. And, she's a smart horse. She gets it. There will be a couple other videos after this as well. Because this is, going to take a couple days for her to learn how to really relax. And I can't sit there and ride, like I said, for extended periods of time. It does start to hurt on my core muscles and that sort of thing. At this point, I'm about 3 weeks post-operation, so not very far after having my stomach muscles cut open. So I was approved by a doctor to be able to do this, but just being able to get on and walk around a little bit. So that was a huge excitement for me. And doing a bunch of groundwork with her as well. So, it's a great opportunity to just do some slow work with these horses. Whether the weather's cold or you can't do as much or whatever. That gives some good opportunities to be able to do some slower work. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity. This mare's always ready to go to work. She's always very easy to catch out in the pasture, never have any issues. She always wants to please you. But that doesn't mean that, she doesn't have some of her issues and her stubborn ways as well. Because she does. You can see she's starting to get better, as this goes on. She's giving a lot easier. Her head isn't up in the air as much as it was when we first started. Starting to be a little bit more relaxed. Sometimes you can see she's tuning me out. Like there, she's like, no, I don't know. I think we got better things to do. But she does eventually give in. There we go. And I asked her for more than what she normally would give me. And there I actually asked her to move her hips over. I would bend her around and then put my hand on where my foot would be and just ask for her hips. And then go back and ask her to flex. You don't always want her to associate flexing with moving your hips. You want that leg to mean that, not just giving and moving your feet whenever you pick up on that rein. That's not the correct answer. And so here you'll see that, I'm going to get on her. And she's not always the best. She likes to kind of take off. So as I do these couple videos for the next couple days, you'll see she starts to kind of get better with that taking off. She also likes to swing her butt out, as you see when you get up to the mounting block. So we're going to work on a couple things. I debated about cutting this out of the video, but then I realized, I can show y'all what she does, and over the next couple of videos, show how she improves, because she does improve. But that is one of her bracy parts that she does is you get on and she just kind of says, well, I gotta go forward, I gotta go. And so that is one of those things that we do work on, and as she improves, I want y'all to kind of see that as well. And the other thing is I got her back up next to the mounting block. I didn't let her stay away from it because I wanted her to realize that she can just relax and rest by that mounting block. That mounting block was not going to be the bad guy. Some horses associate the mounting block as being scary or the bad guy because that's where you get on. You may get off, but most of the time people get on the mounting block, and that means work. So if you go up to a mounting block and it means stop or rest or whatever, they will associate that as such as well. And so don't always just let them walk off, like, and you saw where she had a loose rein, so she could do what she wanted. She could walk off, she could stand there, whatever. I gave her that choice, and y'all saw she walked off. And so yes, I backed her up and got her back into kind of position to say, hey, I need you to stand here for me so we can just relax, and then work on this flexing and trying to get her to, there she drops her head a little bit, which is great. She's still pretty high-headed. She's naturally a high-headed mare. She's got, she's hip high, she's high-headed. Like I said, she's not the prettiest, most conformationally correct mare, but she does have a lot of try to her, which I love in a horse. And I give her that opportunity to just stand there and realize she's being good. And when I've asked for something, I am holding her, asking her to bend. She's kind of pushing down on me, pulling against me, not really wanting to give her face, but trying other options. And there she looked at the other horse, but she did give to me, and that's I still reward that. I still release that rein. I'll do it again, because I know that horse had a partial influence, and there she was a lot better. Quicker, she was a lot smoother just overall. Put her head down a little bit. And sometimes I feel this mare needs to walk, and so sometimes you'll see her me walking off on her. It's just you can feel her muscles ending up being like a tight bundle of a mess, and so you just gotta, let her walk off. And there I had asked her to just flex, and she decided she was going to just keep moving. And so there I said, no, let's, bend her back down to a walk from the trot, because she broke into a trot. That doesn't mean anything's bad. It's just she, said, hey, I gotta go. I gotta move my feet. Okay, well, we'll move our feet, but it's going to be in a small circle. Might not be fun. And there she took a couple nicer steps. Not great, but much nicer than what she had been a couple times. Much lighter. Not sticking her head down to the ground, to her chest and stopping. So just asking. I kind of gave up just asking with my legs. Mostly just been there. I asked with my legs, but I haven't been pushing that as much. We just went back to doing a lot of flexing and a little bit of leg, not a lot, because realizing that, if she's going to take off trotting when I ask with my leg, or if I pick up to flex, we need to get that flexing before we get, moving over with our leg. And do both sides. You don't do just one side, you do both sides. There I asked with my leg again, and she kind of took more steps than I wanted her to. Ended up having to bring her back. Sometimes, like I said, just let her walk. If she can't, get her stopped and then ask them to walk. Let them get some of that energy out and then ask them again. They're like kids. They can't, you can't sit there and hold them for a focus of time, forever. This mare is a little hotter, and so, okay, she needs to move. Well, get your point across, and then, go ask her to do something. And in my case, let her move, let her walk. There I asked her to stop and back up next to those other horses. She did not like that. She wanted to just stop and hang out by her buddies, but she didn't want to sit there and back up and have to work kind of by her buddies. And I'm going to take advantage of her standing there. We're going to flex. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, we can flex by my buddies, I guess. It's still work. It's still getting the job done. We got to work on it anyway. But if she's going to fight me somewhere else, well, we're going to still work on it. Not ideal, but, we can get it done. Now, if I could trot her, I probably would kind of trot her around in that little circles, putting her to work up there. But in this instance, I did not. Just because, like I said, I was not cleared for trotting yet at this point. And there she had been doing really good, and so I'm going to kind of cut it quick, call it quits. Going to work my way back up to that mounting block and, just let her chill for a little bit before I get off, and make sure that she's close enough so I can get off, and call it quits for the day. We'll continue with the next video.